I'm here with Sergio Magaña, and he is an incredible healer, teacher, wisdom keeper from the Nahuatl tradition, the ancient Mexico, like pre-Mexican tradition, right? I'm incredibly excited to be here with him today. I've been going through his year-long healing training.
Yeah.
And I just got a crazy flint extraction and am half here. So this will be fun to give that transmission while we're doing this.
It's nice to do it after the healing. So
yeah,
in an altered state, kind of.
Yes. So what I wanted to talk to you, there's so many different things that you teach about and you're like truly an expert on. And I think in kind of the new age world today in spirituality, there can be a lot of fluff, and you're the real deal. In my experience. And so I wanted to start by kind of talking about actually collective macrocosm. Specifically, right now, you talk about, from your tradition, moving from the fifth sun to the sixth sun. I would love for you to tell us about that, especially in conjunction with 2012, because I know so many people in the community were about that. But what's coming up in 2021?
Okay, if we see like the Aztec Calendar, that actually, everything of the 2012 was about the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
And of course they are like kind of cousins, no? The Aztec, that is not really Aztec, it is called Aztec Calendar because the stone was carved during the Aztec times. Unfortunately, especially abroad, because I'm Mexican, when you Google like Mayan calendar, even in this kind of webinars of experts and that, the one that appears is the Aztec calendar.
Right.
So the people think that the Aztec calendar is the Mayan one, and it's not. So the Aztec one is the one that has like that sun in the center with like the tongue out. That is not a tongue, like we learned today, it's a flint.
Yes.
And at the end it has like two rings that are like two serpents with a human head and with certain feathers.
Yeah.
That's the long count.
Yeah.
The long count is a cycle of 26,500 years. That is the same cycle that the Egyptians and many cultures use, like precession of equinoxes.
Yes.
And that they split it, for example, in Western astrology for dividing like into the eras and that. In the Mexican tradition, it is said that everything is in the base 4 because of 4 elements, 4 phases of the moon, 4 main moments of the day, and that, so it was split into 4. And so the long count is split into 4, and we get like periods of 6,625 years.
Yes.
And now we're finishing 1, but the Mayan calendar is a little bit more like they call it kin also.
Yeah.
But they split it into 5.
Yeah.
The long count. So the periods are of 5,000 something years. That at the same time they give you the same number.
Right.
But in the Nahuatl, Toltec, Teotihuacan cultures is split into 4. And actually they had like a specific date. Like for example, that it was the 21st of December of 2012,
right,
when it was going to change.
Right.
That for many people it was like the end of the world and whatever.
Right.
That if we see, it wasn't.
No.
We are
a certain kind of world.
Yeah. But a lot of people was disappointed.
Yeah.
I think because nothing had really happened, like a tragedy or not the enlightenment, the collective enlightenment and that.
Yeah.
The Nahuatl count is a little bit more like nature. Mm-hmm. For example, when it's going to be the dawn, first it's like night, and suddenly, slowly, the light is coming, and then it becomes day.
Yeah.
So the transition started the eclipses are really, really important. So the transition started in a full eclipse that happened in Mexico City in 1991, a sun eclipse, and it's going to finish in 2021. So it was like first the sixth sun was slowly entering in the fifth sun, and the first 20 years was were supposed, because 20 is related to the earth, that everything outside was going to change. And actually it was quite accurate, because
a lot changed.
Yeah, a lot
past
about
20 years.
technologically and everything.
Yeah.
But actually I published a book like before the 2012 that it was called 2021, The Dawn of the Sixth Sun. A lot of people in that time criticized it because said, how is he making it up a new date or something?
Right.
I just answer, I am just telling what my teacher Hugo told me about other days, other count.
Yeah.
But I put there that the last 9 years were going to be when the inner change was going to happen. First it was like the outer change, and then the inner change when we were going to face the worst part, because we were going to see our underworlds.
Right.
The heavy things that we have to clear like humans. And now like people said probably he was right. And I'm not saying that's what happened.
Yes.
That in the beginning the things that were outside were the ones that changed.
Yeah.
But we weren't changing. It was like technology and everything, and boom, and speeding it up. But now we were forced to change because everything was collapsing politically, environmentally, and everything, and spiritually, and people in crisis and that. So now I believe a lot more in the Nahuatl count.
Yeah.
Because I said, at least in what happened, it made logic.
Totally.
And in the way that it was like split, 20 years first of external changes, and 9 years after that there weren't going to be easy of inner changes.
Right.
We are at the almost end, in the 7.5 year of that changes.
And so now the fifth sun, describe what the fifth sun, the epoch that we're ending, and then the energy of the sixth sun that we're entering. So that transitional collective field.
Yes, they alternate. They are like day and night. So for example, the fifth is a sun of the day, of the tonal, what we call it. When we are, and it's like being awake. Normally, we are supposed to be awake in the days.
Yeah.
So when you're awake, you have your opened eyes. When we have the eyes open, everything is outside. So I love like this description that one of my teachers said. When your eyes open, so everything is outside. God is outside, medicine is outside, satisfaction is outside.
So it's the external mind manifestation?
Yeah, it's very good. The sons of the day are very good for religions. There is always a God outside doing the things for you.
Right.
You need a therapist, a doctor. For medicine, satisfaction, relationships, or conquering of having things and that.
Yeah.
The other ones are like being sleeping, so you close your eyes and you have to go to the inner self. They are not paradise, of course, but because the first thing when you go to the inner self that you see is your underworlds, your repetitive destructive patterns, your addiction to suffering, the ancestral patterns that you haven't solved, what is established, what is stored like we said today in your bones, in your blood, in your DNA, that it isn't solved. So actually I think it's even easier. Unconsciousness, but easier to look outside.
Right.
It's just a tyrant God or a good God.
Yes.
When it's looking outside, it's an entire system of, oh my God, how much I have to do.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the power goes back. So God goes back to you. Right. Not that you feel that you are the entire creator, but at least the creator of your system.
Yeah.
And satisfaction was starting in yourself.
Yeah.
Medicine.
Yeah.
In yourself and everything in yourself. So it's a lot of responsibility.
So this is what's happening with the sixth sun.
Yes.
Is the internal exploration of the collective and
the collective.
Us.
And many people, it's like some of the things that must be explored are dreams, for example, that are in our inside. That for our tradition, for example, dreams create this reality. But if you see in dreams, things happen quickly and that. So many people that is not really exploring themselves is entering in the sixth sun through technology. Because technology is making things easier or quicker, like a dream. So many people are living, for example, millennials and that.
Instant manifestation externally,
but in games and in all these kind of things, not in themselves.
Right.
But the vibration is changing, so you are going to experience it, however, or dying. For some people that refuse change, or through technology, or through spirituality, or through crisis, or through, I think that those are the 4 ones.
And so as they transition through this, what are some things that we can do to prepare ourselves to be able to meet that new frequency individually?
First is to know
that it's
happening.
That it's happening. And what's going on?
What's going?
Understand.
Yeah, because it's not. Many people don't want to know. They just are looking that the things look crazy.
Right.
But because I think that we cannot deny that something is happening.
Yeah.
And for example, I was talking with someone of my family, and he told me, but it has happened before, like in Second World War and something like that. And I said, okay, that was a region. Now, if you see, the rest of the world was kind of normal. Europe was crazy.
Yeah.
But now is the entire thing.
Yeah.
So when you see the entire thing, we cannot deny that something is changing.
Right. Yep.
Collectively.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Yes.
And after accepting what is my part in this?
Yeah.
Try to know what is happening.
Yeah.
And there are many ways. I am not saying that we have the truth in the Mexican tradition or in any tradition, because I like more, if you have seen doing my program, that I like to join pieces of many types of different spiritualities.
Yes.
But it's what to do to solve my own puzzle. That it can be from analyzing my psyche.
Yeah.
Or trying to change patterns that are not working for me anymore.
Right.
Trying to explore myself,
Yeah.
because the world is forcing us.
Right. And in that, what are some of the best ways that we can heal ourselves, and what are the core origins of those wounds? If it's coming up, if we're gonna have to face this internal stuff, where are those coming from, and how can we begin to heal them?
Okay.
That, I know that's like a 12-day lecture, but
no. Okay. First of all, the first thing that I think is different between a son of the day and a son of the night, the fifth and the sixth. For example, in this reality, if we can call it reality, apparently we are splitted.
right.
You are Bridget, I am Sergio, this is the carpet, and whatever.
Yeah.
And I know that in the new age where we say we are all one and everything, but we don't feel it.
Right.
Probably you can think it, but it's like in theory.
Yeah.
For example, in your dreams, you are really, you know that everything that is happening is your mind.
Yeah.
So really, if you're dreaming about the table or about you, it's my mind. So it's part of me. So we must begin transferring that to this reality, and to begin accepting that we are not like individual beings with things happening just by coincidence.
Yeah.
First of all, we have a bloodline. If we don't want to go further, and now, for example, epigenetic has proved that the traumas of our ancestors go to us.
Yes.
So it's not that I am free of my family.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, first I have to explore my family in order to see what are the traumas that are being replied,
Right.
that I have to solve.
Yes.
In any of the different techniques, constellations, deciding not to drink anymore because it's coming. Yeah, some people have done it like that.
Yes.
I
That's
had one.
my kind of background.
Yeah. Like, for example, alcoholic. I don't drink.
Right.
That could be one.
Right.
Or any kind of therapy of erasing in any way.
Yeah.
This kind of ancestral patterns.
Right.
Also, then, if you want to explore yourself more, try to explore your dreams. In your dreams, you will see that you are creating your reality. What happens there then manifests into life.
Yeah.
And if you want to control your life, begin controlling your dreams.
Yes.
And there are many techniques. There is Nahualism, that is the Mexican tradition. There's Dream Yoga, there is Kabbalah, there is a lot of things. There is in the Bible the things about Joseph the Dreamer,
right.
and all these kind of things of how to begin controlling dreams.
Yeah.
And at the same time, that makes this time interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think people should be bored of the other reality. Just things that come from outside and that you...
I think we are. I think there's a dissatisfaction, generally. You know, I think that's where part of the depression and suicide is coming from, is it's like, you know, and the seeking towards spirituality is like, I feel like there's something else, you know, and I'm not truly fulfilled.
No, it's true. For example, I remember how was life like 25 years ago. It was really different. We still wrote letters. Not emails, because I studied outside Mexico, and I was writing for letters. I remember that people was happy just going to church on Sundays,
right.
having a good job,
right.
and a family, and that is all.
Yeah.
Now with that and with everything, no one is happy. Okay, some people, but
right.
But it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
In these 25 years. So if we want to deny it, is that you are not seeing anything.
Totally.
Probably the millennials and the people to be really young, they didn't see the previous one. Right. But for us that we are more like 40 or something like that, we saw the previous one.
Right. You can see the distinction.
And it doesn't look like this one.
Right.
So and it's like, okay, there is more.
Yeah.
But I'm going to live it through a machine, through a video game.
Yeah.
Through the avatar.
Right. I'm curious. This just like came. What do you think's gonna happen? Because like that, it's kind of like a dream. Like it's like an external manifested dream. Like does then that would then create your reality if you're like in that world, or is it a different literal like dimensional realm?
The problem is that you are in the dream of someone else created. That you are living like your own dream.
Right.
And then you must know in the universal collective what does fighting means, and that because that is what you're going to create in your own life.
Right.
Because you eventually, if I'm playing something, I will dream about that.
Right.
That will have the archetypes of the dream of someone else.
Yes.
And then I will create that for that could be health issues, that could be abundance or lack of abundance, ambition, that could be many things.
I see that happening a lot. Like the external ending of this kind of like fifth sun period is very much so people living through other people's creations and dreams. Like whether it's like the Netflix addictions and like living through different stories, celebrities, archetypes, technology, all these things, and
but
it's
not
like
living yours.
Yes, very interesting. So moving into like the sixth sun and going internal, figuring out us, doing that work. It's also connected to like the return of Quetzalcoatl and like the return of that energy. So it is a light thing that's coming, even though it's very internal. How else would it be described that the sixth sun?
The sixth sun, it was called because, for example, the fifth one was called the flint sun. Okay. That is a knife, actually. So, and it was called the angry sun because it was going to be a lot of injustice that we have lived, because it's our periods of 6,000 years, and if we begin studying what is the official history, that I don't believe it completely in the official, but in the past 6,000 years there have always been groups of tyrants taking advantage of conquering other people, enslaving other ones, and that. So I said, okay, but we know as history doesn't contradict the tradition. Right. That the past 6 years were of injustice and a lot of suffering and anger. Yeah.
There's been a lot of that.
It has been a lot, and I hope that enough, because what we want more to happen. Right. Because it has been from male to woman, minorities, from everything, to the Hebrews, to the Muslims, to whatever, to the black, to the white, to the Indians, everyone has made suffering someone else. Yes. So we must have enough.
Yeah. Yes. I hope so. I hope that like this like universal collective energy into the sixth sun can then. So is it like the energy of like all of the legends of like the return of Christ and like all of those kinds of energies?
Yeah, this is called the white sun. the white sun it's like the prophecy of the return of Quetzalcoatl, that is Quetzalcoatl in plural. Quetzalcoatl means the rising serpent, so it's the best possibility.
Yeah.
Where a consciousness is not a person, where people living their best possibility are going to return.
Right.
But of course, it's like a period of 6,625 years. So we don't know exactly when. It's not exactly that in 2 years
Everything's going to change.
no, everyone is living their best possibility.
Yeah.
This must be the clearing,
There's a transition.
the transition.
Yes.
And people exploring themselves, and some people dying in the exploring, people denying, people living the dreams of the others through technology, people really reaching their best possibility.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be in the beginning very dualistic, in certain way.
Yeah.
But at the end, it will be a good dream. But of course, the dream, the sons of darkness, of course, they have power also.
Right.
The one that will try to use the power of the inside to control others.
Right.
And to control the dreams of the others.
Yeah.
Because people, I don't know why people like power a lot.
Yeah, so being aware as we go internal to then not be controlled on the internal level, just like we've been externally controlled by materialism or like those kinds of distractions.
Yeah, because in the internal thing, the main traps are like the ancestral things and the collective things that have been there forever.
Yeah.
So to be aware of what, for example, what we did today, to be aware which had been like the flaws of humankind through different stages.
Right.
So to see if they are in yourself and to accept them because some of them are there.
Yes.
And to begin being aware, to free yourself from like these collective and ancestral things, and then to live a new dream. Because if not, it's repeating the past dreams of humankind and of past generations.
Right.
Even if you are being spiritual.
Right. Yeah, that's what I noticed in the one that I cleared. I cleared the fourth sun, which was the one connected to water and the flood, which to me is like the catastrophe wound in Atlantis and like that story. And I've actually had those are my dreams. I just have all these water dreams, which I know is not good, but it's all about this like flood energy. And it felt like very clearing of that on a very like karmic level for myself, so that I don't have to continue replaying that and like dream that into manifestation for the collective, you know?
Yeah.
So I felt that strongly.
I have a lot of water dreams also.
Do you?
But yeah,
but I have dolphins and whales in mine.
Yeah, no, it's good. But the thing is that's our flint.
Yes.
Overflooded of emotions, and it doesn't mean that it's going to happen again and a flood or something like that. We are just flooded now, and we need to relax, to calm down, to take it easy.
Yes.
For not playing it again and again and again and again.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate everything you've done and experiencing everything, all your magic. How can people find you? What do you have coming up?
And you can find me in sergiomagana.com, and also Sergio Magaña. I am Facebook, and where I'm coming out next year, I will have a dreaming program again of Nahualism here in Berkeley. And also a healing school, the one that you are doing, that I think is great. Not because I'm teaching it, but I think
it is. It's pretty rare.
And this one has gone beyond the other ones that I had done, with a lot of testimonials of everyone. And
definitely.
Yeah.
Curing cancer and just those little things.
Yes, those details.
Yes.
Those details. And it will be New York.
Yes.
And then you can see, because I teach in England, in Mexico, in many places.
All over the place. Well, thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you for you. And it was lovely to do this.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.